Giroscope came about in 1985 as a response to a housing crisis, really. A group of people who consisted of unemployed people, students, and some people who were working, just trying to find somewhere decent to live. In that process, we thought beyond just housing ourselves and sort of started to come up with a rough design of Giroscope as something that would go on and house other people as well. It was staffed by a group of people who had no building skills and no business skills and were young and radical.
The first story we did on Giroscope was in 1987. I do think that the idea of a scruffy bunch of punks who formed a workers' cooperative to do up rundown housing in Hull must have appealed, and it's a good story. Looking back, I suppose it was a very sort of political time as well. It was the Thatcher government, and maybe a very different sort of kind of political atmosphere, and I think the advent of a housing co-op in Hull run by young people was probably a sign of the times.
They contacted me because they were looking for a milk float. So then I went down to see them, and I've kind of kept in touch with them ever since. Giroscope were the first organisation I remember who were talking about the need for a sustainable future, sustainable economy, whether that's in terms of food or energy or housing. They were very, very early into this, an area now that actually probably the future of Hull.
Now, 28 years later, obviously, I think we've still kept the initial spirit, if you like, of Giroscope, but the organisation has changed. We're no longer a workers' cooperative, but in reality, in terms of our pay structure and how the organisation's run, I don't think that's changed a great deal. We still do a lot of our management through meetings, and all our workers are involved in a lot of the decision-making processes in the organisation.
I used to do the building work when they first started out years ago, and I used to thoroughly enjoy it. It was a great laugh. It wasn't like going to work. It was really good fun apart from anything else. It's progressed a lot, and it had to. It couldn't stay the way it was because it would have just stayed small or gone under. So it couldn't have stayed, dreadlocks and bongo players forever, really, could it?
I think one of the most positive ways we've changed is what we do. We do a lot better. We do our houses up to a higher standard, which means our tenants get a better service. We do the building work in a much more professional way, which means our volunteers get a much truer experience of what working life is like, and consequently people can come here and volunteer and end up going into trades or going to college.
Been part of it for basically all my life, 21 years now. Like, my dad was one of the founding members, and my mum's also been part of it. And just last year I started volunteering here and worked my socks off to get an apprenticeship. So yeah, learned quite a lot.
Well, it helps people towards the CVs to get a better job, and it helps people in need as well, so it works both ways really. I started off, I didn't know nothing about joinery, and now I'm working on my level 2. It's a nice place, nice people working here, get along with them, have a laugh. Main factor in a workplace really, isn't it?
Yeah, turn that camera on, because what you're about to see next ain't going to be legal.
I've learned how to mix concrete, which I've always wanted to do, so that's been good. And I've done a bit of roofing, which I always fancied doing. I did find it quite tough to begin with, but that's that work, isn't it? It's a hard world, building, construction. It might be a charity, it might be this, but the actual physical work of doing up a house is tough.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I've been in this building 5 years, yeah. They've been absolutely superb, accommodating everywhere really. Absolutely excellent landlords. You can ask more as a tenant really.
It's more like a family when you go in there. You don't feel like you're interrupting anything. It's not like, does not feel like when you go there like it's a business. It feels more like some kind of, more like a charity, and everyone's really friendly, and that's what I really like about it.
Right, come on in. What can we do you for? We want to continue to expand what we do. We want to involve more people in it. We want to create more jobs. We want to provide more housing. We want to keep Giroscope human-sized. We don't sort of have ambitions to be a 10,000 property housing association. That's not our dreams and our ambitions, but I think certainly Giroscope can be a lot larger and still keep the kind of spirit and the ethos that it's had right from the start, really.